take the focus now to a bit of a bigger operation, Food Lovers Market. Andrew Millson, who's Managing Executive of Human Capital and Sustainability at Food Lovers Market, joining me now. Andrew, thanks so much for your time and thanks for being with us today. Well, Food Lovers Market has really exploded on the market scene, hasn't it? How much of the growth that you've seen planned for and anticipated?
I think planned for very much so. And thank you, firstly, for having me on here, and wonderful to be able to share some of our experience. The planning, people say it takes, 20 years to become an overnight success. And Food Lovers started when 1994. And to be a part of that journey and to see how it has grown and evolved from that fruit and veg city to the Food Lovers Market brand that we know now has been incredible. Absolutely amazing to see. And then, of course, the other brands. We've got Fruit and Veg City International, which is an import-export company. We've got Seattle Coffee Company within the group, which is just an incredible brand and doing some amazing work. And then our Fresh Stop convenience stores, which have also exploded across the country. I think there's about 350 of them we've opened across the country. So it's been a very exciting business to be a part of.
But hard to ignore what hit in 2020, right, with COVID and lockdown. So how hard was Food Lovers Market hit and impacted?
It was a very different kind of set of things that were happening in our business, because our core business in terms of the Food Lovers Markets became exceptionally busy. So we have never been so busy before. I think it was as a result of a few different things. I think it's where our stores were placed, often standalone stores. I believe that there was a real push towards healthier eating. So that kind of fruit and veg offering and the fresh offering was very much in demand. And then, of course, with restaurants and everything else being closed, I think that people needed to go to, kind of supermarkets to get their food. So in that respect, we saw huge growth and huge sales. On the other side, though, some of our other brands, the Fresh Stop stores, the convenience at the petrol stations, and obviously the Seattle Coffee Companies and some of our eateries, they obviously struggled because they had to shut through it. So a real mixed bag. But overall, as the group with the Food Lovers Market stores, the growth was exceptional. But that in itself created its own set of challenges for sure.
Absolutely. Before we get into the challenges, though, Andrew, how did this translate then to you managing your workforce? Because, we've come to talk about a shrinkage of the workforce over this period. Did it mean that you actually saw growth then?
Absolutely. And what was quite amazing is, again, being part of the business, I think sometimes it takes these kind of real disruptors, if you like, to see the true culture of the business come out and to shine. And what we saw there is we actually went out to market and we went to businesses that were struggling and we knew were either retrenching or temporarily laying off people. And we went out to them and we took some of their colleagues into our business to see how they could support us and in turn support them. So that was one amazing aspect that came from it, was like a collaboration across industry or across businesses, if you like, to say, look, you guys before you lay off, let us take some of your people because we are so busy that we need it. And then obviously within our group, we did the same thing. So we've got market liquors and diamond discount liquors within our business. And when they were closed, we took all of their people and we put them into Food Lovers Market stores. So it just took a little bit of rethinking about the possibilities that exist in terms of managing that sales growth that we had.
Chatting to you this morning, Andrew, you get a sense that, you're looking at things, of course, with the glass half full approach here and mindset. But you did allude to the fact that you did experience challenges. So what were some of those?
People were nervous, people were uncertain, people were scared. So when the whole country went into lockdown and went into shutdown effectively, we were one of those businesses that obviously stayed open. And our people, though, weren't immune from the fact from the very real fear that was out there, that they were putting themselves at risk. And that they were serving our customers every single day. They were with each other every day. And of course, you put in all the measures that we did the social distancing and the washing their hands and everything else that everybody is so familiar with now. But we were very aware that when they were going back into their communities, people were nervous of them. So we went on a huge drive to actually reassure our people. And one of the best things that I feel came out was the leadership within the business. So I remember we used to have these COVID meetings almost every single day. And when the very first case of COVID came through, our CEO, Brian, actually stood up and walked out and went straight to that store to go and speak to the people and to reassure the people. And that set the tone for the next really 2 years, where the entire leadership team, we were very rarely in the office. We were out in the stores, speaking to people, small groups of people, reassuring them, getting their ideas, where were their struggles, what would they like to see us do differently, and then bringing that back centrally and working it through from there.
Andrew, would you say then that you're valuing human capital a whole lot differently now post-COVID than you did pre-COVID?
I think we've always valued human capital. I think the business is very aware that at the end of the day, we might sell fruit and veg, but we're a people business, and it's always been the case. We have people who buy from farmers, who stock shelves, and people who serve our customers. So I don't think that has changed that much. I think the big factor there is maybe the positioning of the human capital department within the business has shifted slightly, because we became, I'd say, even more critical than ever before in the leadership side, in the reassuring side, and in the supporting our people side.
Yeah, you're a customer-facing business, right? So how easy or difficult has it been getting to a point where you can, in fact, opt for or shift towards a hybrid format model? Is that something you could potentially, given what you do, consider more so within your business?
No, that's been an interesting debate, that one. And when we serve customers the way we do, there's 16,000 people in the group, and the vast majority of them are on the shop floor every single day serving our customers. And so the hybrid model in terms of the retail space doesn't really translate that well. And when you start to look at head offices, it's such a small percentage of our total workforce. So overall, as a business, the hybrid model isn't something really that has happened or has needed, because we haven't really had the people working from home. They've been in the stores busier than ever serving our customers.
Absolutely. So that an incentive that you can't necessarily, given what you do as a business, put on the table for your employees. Have you reconsidered your approach at all when it comes to attracting, managing, and retaining top talent within your business as this business grows?
Yeah, I think that's been a focus for a while. I think that certainly the growing talent, we've got a whole program that we call Same Faces, Higher Places within Food Lovers Market Group. And the whole ethos behind that is, and I've said this many times, how do we, I come from a very privileged background, and not everybody had the same access to education, for example, that I did. So, but when I look around at the 16,000 people, there are people that are absolutely more talented and have got more potential than I've ever had, yet they didn't have the same access to education that I had. So that's been the ethos that's underpinned our Same Faces, Higher Places. In terms of that talent management, then is our view has been, how do we encourage and support our managers to identify and nurture and then develop the talent that maybe doesn't look like me or sound like me, or look like them or sound like them? And how do we really give people an opportunity to flourish and to grow within the business? So that's been a big part of our ethos and our sustainability strategy and our people strategy for the last number of years, actually, that started pre-COVID, and certainly won't be going anywhere.
Andrew, as you do that, and as you put the workforce on really enhancing your employees as they grow with the business, are you getting caught up at all in the war for talent, particularly where you've got skills that are in short supply and high demand? And if so, how are you now navigating that challenge?
Absolutely. I think finding amazing people is always going to be a challenge, especially in the retail space, because the retail space isn't the most glamorous space. There's very few people who wake up one morning and say, yeah, when I grow up, I'm going to sell, cabbages and carrots. It doesn't happen that often. But once you're in it, and it's long hours and it's hard work. So again, what we found is that the people, once you get into retail, it can be I think it's kind of addictive for a lot of the people who work on the shop floor. So how do we give the most opportunity to the people who've been with us and have helped to grow this business? And where's the reciprocity in that? How do we in turn help to grow them?
As far as rewards go and incentives go, Andrew, what kind of rewards, benefits, models are you putting on the table for your employees right now, as a possible competitive advantage when it comes to battling out in that war for talent?
There's a number of different employee engagement and kind of benefits that we've looked at. I think right now, where the biggest challenge within the not necessarily the market, but within the social structures with which we operate is around the cost of living. And I think there's a lot of work going into that at the moment to see how do we support our people to actually grow within the business, to have a standard of living and a way of life that every single person deserves. So I think that's where a lot of the work at the moment is less around kind of attracting top talent from elsewhere, but actually how do we support our own people to grow and develop so that they can live the life and realize their own full potential.
I'm going to ask you a very pointed question at this point, Andrew. Are you valuing human capital as an asset like any other asset on your balance sheet right now? Or is that still an evolution that's happening?
How do I say this? Relegating people to a balance sheet is not right. So I think that people are worth a lot more. I think to do that just kind of corporatizes business way too much and dehumanizes business way too much. And at the end of the day, I think we really shouldn't be dehumanizing what we do. We are a human business, and it's filled with people with hopes and aspirations and challenges. And living in our country at this particular time, there are possibly more challenges than ever before, or that people, that globally, I should say, that elsewhere. So really, the focus there is how do we give people a voice? How do we actually get everybody to treat each other genuinely with respect, to see people for who they are, for look across the cultural barriers and actually celebrate our diversity? Because if we are able to do that, if we are able to genuinely look each other in the eyes and celebrate our diversity and actually start to learn to lead less from the head and more from the heart, I think that we can change our business, and then hopefully, if we can have a ripple effect from that.
Yeah. So with that kind of mindset in play and some of the initiatives that you've outlined coming into play as well, how do you see all of this at the end of the day, Andrew, translating to future growth, productivity, and profit for Food Lovers Market?
I think if we take a real people-centric approach to business, then it ultimately will be the people that drive the growth of the business. So, if you look at where we've been over the last few years, and if we go back to COVID, the way that people came together within the business to serve our customers in very, very trying circumstances was awe-inspiring. It really was amazing. And I think the businesses was quite taken aback by that real go get it attitude from that came to the fore. I guess it's always been there, but in this time it really came to the fore. So I think by really continuing with that, people-centric approach to business and putting people first as much as possible, the profit will come, the growth will come, and it will come through the people. I think if you focus purely on profit and leave people behind, that's quite a short-sighted approach. So, if we can keep focusing, putting people first, helping to our people so that they can in turn support our customers and we can grow our customer base, that's where the growth is going to come from. That's where the customer is going to come from. But it's going to come from a focus on our people.
Andrew, let's leave it there. Thanks so much for having shared some of your experience with us today. It really has been great chatting to you. And of course, that with on-the-ground experience in the new normal, it really provides valuable lessons for other businesses out there, right? As we all try and navigate this new operating environment as best we can. Andrew Millson is Managing Executive of Human Capital and Sustainability at Food Lovers Market.